Magical Meetups. I'm Candace.
And I'm Nicole. This podcast is about growing and learning through discovery of all things metaphysical and supernatural.
Okay, so we are talking about the why we got into this today. Why did we get into metaphysical things?
The $1,000,000 question.
And supernatural things, because we also will talk about the supernatural.
I think I was interested in the supernatural before the metaphysical.
100% same. I feel like you get a lot of the supernatural information younger than the metaphysical information.
You understand that more than
like all the scary movies and
right.
all the haunted things, Halloween and we're going to a haunted house kind of thing, and then, always ghosts.
I hate haunted houses.
Are you serious? I love them.
Well, I've never been.
Okay, so you hate it, but you've never been to it.
Exactly.
I feel like we need to remedy this.
No. It's because I can't control the fact that somebody else is going to scare me.
But that's
the
whole point.
And that's why I choose not to do it.
You're so lame.
I know. It's okay.
For my high school, senior project, we did a haunted house, to make money.
But that's okay because it's not scary if you...
you're okay working it and, creating it.
Heck yeah.
You wouldn't
but I
go
don't want
through
to do it
as,
because...
not knowing.
Exactly.
Oh.
But once I know, I'm not going to go through it because that's lame.
Oh, my gosh. She's like, but, if I make it, then
There's no point then.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I've always loved haunted houses. Always loved scary movies. Always have been super into ghost
stories.
Ghost stories. Like the little, back when they used to have that one adventuring squad they were the only people who started adventuring and going to ghost areas, haunted areas. Ghost Adventures?
Yeah, with Zach.
Yeah.
Whatever his name is.
Yeah. So, ghost shows have gotten a lot better. I recently watched all of Jack Osbourne's
I like
Ghost.
Yeah, I feel like he's
hunts.
legit.
Yes.
Like the one with Ghost Adventures, I feel like they put on a lot.
Yeah.
Or they make... And I'm not saying it's not real because I do watch it and I have watched it a lot.
Yeah.
But I feel like they make something very small into something very big.
It's a little over dramatized
Yes.
for TV. Especially the early episodes when they were kind of the only
Right.
ones out. It was very much kind of oh, hey, we're gonna throw this out there and hopefully people like it, but with more drama. But I like when the stories ones where people will tell their story.
I do like
I like
a
those.
documentary.
Like a documentary, but it's mini stories of them. I found a lot of those. Jack Osbourne does amazing ones, and I like how, I don't know if you've seen the one where he brings celebrities on with him.
Like non-believers. That's
yes,
what I really like is people that are oh no, nothing's gonna happen.
And his psychics, they don't know anything about the location. I like when psychics don't know about the location. Right. I've seen some other ones. Yeah. And that one lady he has that comes in, she even puts a blindfold on.
Mm-hmm.
Chip doesn't wear a blindfold. He just doesn't know about the location. But that lady, she wears a blindfold.
And they're always so on point.
Yes.
It's freaky.
We'll talk later about if you can become a psychic or if it's you already have to possess it.
If you are born with it.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out because it's very interesting. Because we each can open our third eye for certain things, but can we open our third eye for specific things?
So interesting.
Yes, so that will be a later episode.
For sure.
But back to this one. What got you into the metaphysical part?
Honestly, so I am a RN, full-time nurse. So it's people are always like, oh my gosh, you have a crystal shop?
No,
yeah,
really?
Yes, I do. They just can't gather, they don't understand where somebody that has gone to school to do
Oh,
something,
yeah.
and then they're
Like the sciencey part, like that you
Yeah.
like studied science and you're a nurse, and then like that metaphysical
right. And I
spot.
honestly think that it kind of goes together because I have this science knowledge part of it.
Mhm.
I know what our bodies do. I know all this stuff, but like there's so many things that are unexplained, which
Yeah.
has always
Well, even
drawn me in, I guess.
even like when we were talking about the chakras, like how it can physically become like ailments, like in your
Mhm.
physical body. Like I thought that was interesting because like you as a nurse see a lot of ailments, and then sometimes they can kind of further along a diagnosis
And
or
it's like sometimes you're like, why? Why is
Yeah.
that person having this sign and this symptom? It doesn't even make sense. Like,
and
what
then
is
they're
going
not
on?
like the doctor's like nothing's wrong with you.
Right, but
Have
the
a great
person,
day.
right,
Yeah.
but the person's like, no, I feel like there's something wrong.
Yeah.
So
I think like that is a good explanation of like I feel like some things that happen to people, they like I know this is wrong, this is hurting, or you know my back's hurting, but the doctor says I don't have a pinched nerve or a bulging disc or any like none of the X-rays or MRIs say
show
something.
anything, yeah.
But like what is wrong with my back? Like
and
kind of situation.
everyone always says, oh, everything's fine. It must be in your head.
Yes.
You know?
It's not in my
You're
head.
working too much. Or
Yeah, you're stressed,
or
all that stuff, and or, well, maybe you should do some stretches.
you gotta
I'm
love
tired of
that one.
stretching. Leave me alone. Like you're just imagining that. No, I'm
No.
not. Like maybe I need to work on my chakras. Well, now we know we need to work on chakras.
Exactly.
But yeah. So I think that's
But you know,
wild.
people don't
Think
think
about
of
that.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Like they even like doctors today, some like newer doctors, they
Mhm.
are like very into like self-healing and like all
Yeah.
these things they want to try
Like natural
first,
healing.
yes.
Yeah.
But like your old school doctors, like the older ones,
They gonna put
No.
your ass in hospice. Let you know. They like, bye. Sorry about you.
Or their big thing is go outside, go exercise, go.
Yeah.
Like, that's always their go-to, especially with mental health or
Yeah.
anything like that, especially with older doctors. But
It's like
Not
I can't
all
get
of
out
them,
of
but-
bed. How am I gonna exercise?
How am I gonna go outside?
Like I'm trying to make it to the bathroom and the kitchen. What you mean? Maybe even the couch if I'm feeling spicy that day.
right?
Yeah, and it's wild because we look at things like people would get lobotomies and people would get electroshock therapy and all this stuff that they were like, this is what's gonna cure you, and we have accounts of people like literally it being depression or like something
Right.
as
And like now they're like, oh, let's not do that anymore.
that's probably gonna
not
make
the
your
best thing.
symptoms are worse. Like it's gonna drive you crazy because your head is getting scrambled. Like what? Like it's wild that they
It
would
is.
just like line them up and put them on. Because I was watching a ghost documentary.
Go figure.
Bring it on around. And it was this hospital, and they did a lot of lobotomies and a lot of electroshock and things like that. And like people were haunting there because they were like
they were
they were tortured souls, and they were like still going through like that. So they like hung around because
Right.
they didn't know any better. And it was like wild when they looked up the history of it and what like had happened there,
Right.
and I was like, oh my gosh.
See, like all that stuff, like it's so sad. But
Yes.
I'm always like I want to understand why. Like
Yes.
why did that happen, or why do they think that that was a good idea to
Yeah.
try that with?
Like
I don't
like what was their sense, like what was the reason why they thought that extreme was like a good idea?
right. But I'm sure in 60 years from now,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's stuff that we're doing in
Yeah.
medicine or something that they're gonna be like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, they're also gonna be like, podcast the worst, get it out of here. And we're gonna be like, we had a great podcast. What do you mean? But yeah, I just find stuff like that so fascinating.
Yeah.
But I got into it a little bit at a time because so I feel like it was like my aunt, my great aunt, my grandma's sister. We would always hear stories about her being a witch, and like I was always intrigued. Like I'm here for it. I'm like,
Right.
tell me more.
I wish I had stories like that.
Yeah, I'd be like, tell me more. And they'd tell me like when she was at a funeral one time that this person was being mean to like the family that the funeral was about, or our family, like somebody had died. And so she looked at them and she was gonna give them diarrhea, but somebody walked in the front of her, and so she gave them diarrhea instead. Like stuff like that. Like I was always super interested in, and obviously some of the stuff was like super wild that they were saying, but like she would always like she's very eccentric, and later in life she gave up her witchy ways and turned around, but there was still so many accounts.
Turned around or just hit it down deep.
Yeah, she just hit it down deep, 100%. I feel like all the judgment
because can you really?
You can't really stop.
It's like,
and she was wild. She would she loved to scare us, and so she would have fake seances and rig stuff up. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Rig stuff up, like rig stuff for the table to float, because she was short. She was honestly maybe 5 foot. She was short, so she'd be like, I can't lift up the table. And she was like, by the time I was around, she was like solid 70. Solid 60. 60, 70 years old. Like, so 100%. She was already old. So you're like, okay. And she would rig something to come out the closet. It was wild, bro. And then she was like crazy. Sometimes I was like, what are you on about?
And that brings me back around to mental health and what people would, and I know you guys can't see me, but the quotations of crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of people will say, oh, they must be off their rocker. They think they can do this or that. Yeah. But I think that's just another way of trying to cover it up or tell people that you can't do that. Kind of controlling.
Yes. So when I say crazy, I mean like wild.
Yes.
Like just for reference, but like back in the day when they would say crazy, they legitimately meant like you needed your brain scrambled to make it right. But she was like wild. Bro. She was, you never knew what was going to happen or what she was going to say. And then
I wish I could have met her.
In my grandma's house, one time I saw feet chasing me.
Oh,
just the feet.
Was she alive at this time?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say if she had passed already, it was probably her.
No. It was just the feet, and they chased me and my cousin.
So
and
it wasn't something that you just daydreamed.
No, it wasn't just like, me. Oh, you should probably get your head checked out. No. 100% me and the other person saw it.
They saw the feet too.
Yes. And we ran from them. And they chased us.
Did you hear the feet?
I don't remember that. I was a solid probably 9, 8. But that literally sticks out to me. Because I remember the feet chasing me.
In a way, I wish I could say I experienced stuff like that. But I've never been able to see anything. But I've always been very in tune with how I feel.
Yeah.
So I might be at my grandparents' house. They have a hallway in the very end of their house that goes to their bedroom. All the bedrooms were on the back side. And that hallway scared the living hell out of me. Even to this day when I go, it freaks me out. I go straight to the bathroom, shut the door. There's just certain spots, so I don't know, maybe that's just
that's probably you picking up on stuff that you're like, this is not
okay.
This is not where I'm supposed to be in my life, okay?
Which is probably why I don't like haunted houses, because I'm a big chicken.
Probably. I'm still scared of my grandparents' basement.
See?
And I have to sleep down there. when we go and visit my grandma, which, by the way, my grandma's 92. So I've been sleeping in this house my whole life.
Right.
Like, she's been in this house 30, well, probably like 40 years before I was born. I am so scared of that basement. Part of it is because my aunt, who would have the seances, she would have them downstairs and rig things up. And two, because I always get this dread that somebody's watching me when I'm down there.
Probably her.
No, it was before her.
Oh. Even now?
Even now.
Hmm.
I don't know.
I have a good idea.
What?
For our next episode, right? When we start talking about ghost hunting and everything, we need to go. And
Ooh,
yes,
we
that
should
would
go
be so
ghost
fun.
hunt. Yes. Okay, we will have to make that happen where we go maybe to like Eureka or something. Like do
That would be
something
fun.
like that. Or somewhere we can find that's like kind of secluded and go find out. Go get scared.
Oh, yeah,
Yay, my favorite part. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, no, that's what like got me into metaphysical, and then I kind of like didn't want to do it because society is always like, don't look into the occult. It's all devil worshiping and you're going to die, and I was like, I don't want to do those things. So,
And some right. I don't want to die.
I don't want to die. I don't want to worship the devil.
But some of the things, even metaphysical,
Yeah.
it's not a scary word, but people hear it and they don't understand it, so
Yes.
they don't like it, or it doesn't sit right with them. So
Yes. So then they automatically are like,
it's
oh,
the devil.
yeah, like it's automatically wrong.
Right.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. So then I went into a shop on Beale Street in Memphis, Tennessee, where I'm from, and I picked up a pendulum. And I wanted that pendulum. And I didn't use that pendulum for like solid 2 years. It just sat in my house.
But you had to have it.
But I had to have it. And then I picked up a tarot book. And I picked up my tarot cards from Barnes & Noble. Very legit. I know. Wild. And that's when, like, I was in. I was like, I am sold. Put me on all of the information. I need to know everything.
See, I worked with a lady. She's like, hey, let's go. It was actually in Siloam Springs. They used to have like a small little crystal shop over there. And she's like, hey, let's go look at this shop. I've never been into a crystal shop a day in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Walk in there, and it was like a kid on Christmas morning. I was like, oh, like you just get lost with all the crystals and the books. Like I sat there, they had like bean bags, and I just sat there and looked at the books, and it was wonderful.
Oh yeah,
it was the best.
I love just going in and just like, because when you're like looking at stuff, you can walk past something, and then you can walk back past it, and you're like, I didn't even see that there.
Absolutely.
Like there's so many things, and then like I love how when you go into a metaphysical shop, like things call out to you, and they're like, you need to take me home with you, and it's not actually like, hey bro, you should take me home with you.
Hey.
And no, it's like that feeling that you get, and they're like, oh yes, please come home with me. What's your price? I always look, what's your price?
After you know you already want it and you have to have it,
Yeah, and then I'm
it's
like,
a thing. Then you're like, damn.
I'll pick you up next payday.
Right.
I love you though.
What if it's gone though?
Then it wasn't meant to be.
True.
It was not meant to be. Now, if it's still sitting there,
Then you know.
then I know. I used to do that a lot when I was on a budget.
Right.
If I still wanted to eat something 3 days later, then I would actually spend money on it. But I couldn't buy it like impulse buy.
I have no patience for that.
Yeah. You seem very impulsive.
I can't help it. I've always been that way.
You should work on that.
Probably.
Probably blocking your chakras.
Probably.
So, I feel like we should like tell people what the word metaphysical means. So it is an idea doctrine or positioned reality outside of the human sense perception. So, like, we have our physical body, but the metaphysical is like outside
of your space.
Yeah.
Or your,
like physical things. Like, you can't feel them or touch them
exactly.
always.
So your physical self, or the things that you may not be able to see or touch or explain.
Like our third eye. Like, there's
it's there.
You know it's there.
It don't blink.
You know when it's open and
or
you know when it's closed.
Don't even get me started on that. Just food for thought. Please don't ever touch anyone's third eye.
We're going to mention that in every episode.
We will fill you in on the story eventually.
How to not make people upset. Don't touch their third eye. Especially, like, poking it without permission.
And then saying, oh, it's closed. Makes people get weirded out.
It's very weird.
Yes.
Don't go in metaphysical stores doing weird things. Like, we already have a weird name. Like, we already are weird people in general.
Right. Like, and weird is okay.
Yeah, I love it.
Like, I'm good with that.
But don't do inappropriate things. Because it's not just weird, it's inappropriate to touch somebody's third eye.
It's like walking up to you and touching your kneecap. You'd be like, what are you doing?
Okay, I love my third eye way more than I love my kneecap. Honestly, take my kneecap out, but do not take my third eye.
Right.
Like, don't do it.
But if I just randomly walked up to you in the street and you didn't know me, you'd be like, what are you doing, weirdo?
Yes.
Like,
you should not do those things, okay? Don't close other people's chakras or touch other people's chakras.
It's like metaphysical etiquette.
Yes. Maybe we need to do an episode on metaphysical etiquette and how to act in a metaphysical store. Because some people do not know how to act in metaphysical stores.
True.
So, just, like, don't be an ass.
There's always that.
And don't touch people. That's just
Stay in
weird.
your bubble. Like, your personal little bubble.
Live your best life in your bubble.
Yes.
I like it. Okay, so what about metaphysical, it can be metaphysical or supernatural, what interests you the most by either one or both?
Oh my gosh. I would, that's so hard because I like all kinds of things. But my first go-to is anything like hauntings, ghost stories, the thought of something being there that I can't see and I can't explain, but I want to know and I want it to scare me, or I want to experience something.
Like, you want that feeling.
Yes, because I want to know that there's something else there. It's
okay.
like this, like, need that's just always, like, ate at me.
It's like you want to have, like, that validation that, like, there are other things.
Yes.
You just maybe can't explain those things. Yeah. Okay. What about metaphysical? That was more supernatural.
No.
I know. It's.
What about you? You go first.
Okay. Metaphysical, tarot, 100%. I am so interested in tarot that I, like, really honed in on that. Obviously, you know. I really honed in on it. I do give readings at your shop.
Yeah.
And I love it so much. But I also am so interested in that I now have, looked into bone throwing or charm throwing, archetypes.
That's very interesting.
Those kind of
things.
things.
You hear archetypes, like
you hear oracle, but not archetypes.
You don't really hear of that, so it's really interesting.
Which I feel like I'm more of the physical self, like the physical person, like their mind and everything, rather than oracle, which I feel is more universal. I prefer the, like, reading for a person rather than, like, the person within the universe, if that makes sense.
Right.
But, like, tarot is just, like divination. I'm here for. I do enjoy pendulums, but I shake, so because I have tremors, so I can't usually use a pendulum that well.
Right.
But I have a pendulum that's hanging in a jar that I
Ooh.
use.
So another thing, I do like the pendulums, but they have those rods.
Yes.
Dowsing? Is that how you say?
Dowsing rod? I think so.
Those, like, I need to order some for the shop because I'm so interested in those.
I would like to take them to a haunted place.
Yes.
That would be cool. Where are the ghosts? Point you directly to them.
And like you've been into the shop multiple times. Most everything in there is crystals.
Yes.
So that's my number one love. But
Obviously.
I also, obviously, but I mean, as far as I like tarot, but I just don't feel like it's my thing
Yeah.
yet. Like, because I second guess myself too much.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm still growing in the sense of
Mhm.
learning and how to open my third eye and all of those wonderful things that I don't ever want to steer somebody wrong. So I
Yes.
just choose not to do it until I know that's what I'm supposed to do.
You also kind of have that confidence in yourself that you're not reading from your own personal beliefs and things, that you're reading from the cards and the intuition. So, like, I don't ever read, like, even when I read for you, like, I know a lot of stuff about your life, but I don't ever use the stuff that I read, like, that I know about your life in my readings.
Right.
Like, sometimes I'll be like, okay, that tracks with what's happening in our life, but, like, I don't ever am like,
Right.
I'm gonna make this card mean this because of what's happening in her life. Like,
Right.
it's very much like I have to disconnect myself from, like, our personal relationship,
Right.
rather than, I feel like some people just want to do it, like, want you
Or-
to feel happy, like,
Right.
want you to feel good about it,
And that's
sometimes
one thing
it's
that
not.
like people want to feel good. They want all the
Yeah.
validations and stuff, but it's just not worth it in the end. Like,
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, people will be like, I already knew that, but,
Mhm.
like, hearing it from a stranger that doesn't know me is, like, amazing. Like, it validates them more. So even when I'm giving them, like, bad news and it's, like, sad and I'm, like, affirming what they should be doing and they
already
know it's hard,
Yeah.
I'm like, I always give the speech of, I know this is easy for me to say on this side, and it's going to be a lot harder for you to do on that
It's
side.
always easier for the
Yeah.
person telling. the
Listen,
other
when
one.
my cards read me, I'm like, oh, why?
Excuse me?
You didn't have to talk to me like that.
And just so you guys know, her cards are assholes. I'm not even like there's
They
not
are
even
savages.
They are. They're not even nice.
No,
ever. Like
they're not
like,
polite.
I'm gonna see how I can screw you over today. Like they're
My
but they're
cards,
so truthful.
yes, my cards do not pull any punches.
No.
100%. My cards are gonna tell you how it is.
They need to.
Yeah.
And that's why I love how you do your readings.
Yeah, and I just really enjoy my cards. I just really connect with them, and I feel like that was like a whole, like, that was the whole thing, was just like getting a deck of cards and knowing that, like, you were gonna be honest and truthful with them, and we're not gonna sugarcoat everything kind of situation. Interest me most about supernatural? 100% ghost hunting. Paranormal investigation, I'm here for it. I love it. I'm interested.
Heck yeah.
I want to do it. I did it in college. I was in a paranormal
Did
group.
anything crazy ever happen?
Yes, lots of crazy things happen. We'll have to save that for a paranormal episode.
Okay.
Because it was wild. I, like, had to go home and shower so
Like-
that nothing followed me home. I was like,
I could
scrubbing
see-
myself
I
in
could
the
see her
dorm.
outside
I was like-
with the hose.
I lived in a dorm at the time, and I was like, I gotta go scrub. Because I was like, nothing's being attached to me.
Not today.
Not today. Kind of piggyback off of what interests you most. What are your specialties?
So I love energy healing. Like, that is, I think, going to be my thing. You know,
I think you're good at it because you're so positive. Like, even when like you're having a crap day, like you can look at other people and like feel happy that they're having a good day.
yes.
Like that's a
And it doesn't
amazing.
matter, like, what's going on. Like, a tree could fall on the house, right? And I could be like, oh, well, at least we have another window. It's kind of hot. You know? Like, I
Yeah.
always am that way because, okay, we have a problem. Let's figure out how we need to fix it.
Which is so good.
Sometimes, but everyone looks at me like they want to punch me sometimes.
I mean, that's valid.
Yeah.
That's valid because we all
It's a
can't
thing.
just be so happy. It's just like, she's looking at glass half full.
Yeah.
Oh, disrespectful. We are all empty in here.
There's still some on the bottom of that cup.
Right? You're like, oh, there's still a little drop. It's so nice.
It's still okay.
It'll get me through the desert. So, what kind of energy healing? I know this, obviously, but
okay, so I am a Reiki master, and so I do energy healing with the person's energy. So as I'm going through their chakra points, I can see if I can't see it. I feel it.
Yeah.
I understand when I'm doing it if maybe a chakra is blocked, or maybe I might get a feeling like one person, I was up by their crown chakra, and like just the right side of their head was like extremely hot. When I do it, I feel heat in my hands. And after the session, I was going through and letting them know, and she's like, well, I'm blind in my right eye. So it's just little things like that, and that helps me because it validates.
Yeah.
You know, and so I love doing it.
That's kind of like how I feel when I'm reading tarot, which is my specialty. I'm not saying that I'm out here, making money, but I do donations. People come back,
Exactly.
But that's how I feel when I like read tarot. Like when somebody's like, that makes total sense. Like I can understand.
It makes you feel good.
It makes me validated that like I'm not tripping and it's
Right.
not all in my head.
You're not crazy.
I'm not crazy, guys. But like, and it's complete strangers that I don't know. I'm just
Right.
like, hey, this, and this, and they're like, that's it right there. I
And
made
you
people
know,
cry.
I know, all the time.
I
'Cause
made
your
you
cards
cry.
are assholes.
I've made you cry.
I know.
And sometimes I feel bad.
No, you don't.
But I'm like, but you needed it. But don't you feel better?
Well, good thing I have tissue.
Exactly.
I gotta be positive somewhere.
You're all good thing I have some tissues. It's fine. But yeah, no, it's so validating.
But there was one point, and randomly, I went for my training after we opened the shop, and somebody was just talking about it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to Joplin to get I think it was the second level," and I was like, "Oh, I think I should do that," because I'm like, "Oh, it kind of goes together, it coincides, But did I believe?
Yeah.
100%? No. I can honestly say I was like, okay, this is.
Yeah, it'll look nice on the wall,
Yeah,
kind
like
of
honestly, like that's
a little
how
extra.
I was. But when they call it attunements, and that was the first time I ever felt my third eye tingle. It was like somebody doing the itsy bitsy spider. Like I felt it just like vibrating, and I was like, what just happened?
You're like, my forehead! Did it grow an eyeball?
And that was the moment that everything changed for me. Because I was
That's
like,
awesome.
holy shit, something just happened. And I know it's not,
Yeah, not a physical thing.
Yes, I physically felt it. But I know it was something else. It was crazy.
So good. That
And
is
now,
awesome.
Ever since I've been attuned, all three, every time you get a level done, you get attuned to that level. So I've been attuned 3 times. every time it gets a little bit stronger. Well, now when somebody says something and I know that it's right, or say, I think so and so's sick, or if I get goosebumps, I know it's true. Like,
yeah.
it's the weirdest thing ever. I know you're probably like, oh yeah, you're a crazy lady, but it's crazy.
No, it's 100% wild because I feel like so I make moon pickles. That will also be on the Moon podcast episode. So when I have my moon pickles, I make the intention to have insight and success in being able to read tarot and things, and I will come in freaking buzzing.
Yeah, she'll be
like my energy will just be like
you good, girl?
Everywhere. Like it's like I had like 6 energy drinks, and I'm just sitting there like, ooh, I'm ready to go. Like, and I'm like reading people.
And because sometimes like if you're running just on time, when you think you're late, but when you're like on time,
yeah,
she'll come in with her jar of pickles. And I can always tell when she's like trying to just get out of the house because she's so off. I'm like, you haven't had a pickle, have you?
Yeah. I'm like weirdly like, I'm running late for a very important date. I'm like always just like running around like a chicken with my head cut off.
Right.
Like, can't even have time to eat pickles. Your dogs are barking.
I know, I hear them.
What'd you do?
I didn't do anything.
Oh, Scott's probably home. Would they bark?
No. They're probably fighting about something.
Oh, okay.
They hang out and like play, or they're tearing the house apart.
I mean,
both can be valid.
They are valid. They live here, you know. They don't pay
are
rent,
my dogs.
but they live here. This is their house too, living rent free,
right,
and tearing everything up,
living their best life.
Yeah, I want to be a dog
that
lives a bougie life.
As long as it's not a silver wolf.
That was an inside joke. I am done with you. So, do you have any other specialties?
I don't know. Do I?
I don't know.
I
feel like your specialty is honestly just being like yourself, like being so positive, like.
And honestly, I can 100% say this. I'm still learning.
Yes.
And I'm still trying to find my way through all the metaphysical side and everything. So I think there's a lot more.
Especially crystals too.
Yes. And I love teaching people things.
Yes.
So we do classes. We do free classes. And some classes cost a small fee, like if there's supplies or something that we need for it. But most of our classes are free. And I just like to give that knowledge away.
And you give us cool printouts. And
colored
printouts, let me tell you. Okay, one, we're based in Grove, Oklahoma. Her shop is Rustic and Rebellious. Totally awesome. Crystals, and that's where she does her classes. And she gives us, even when the class is free, printouts that are colored.
And super pretty.
And they're pretty. She even spends money on them.
Yes, I do.
It's a while. And she gives them out for free.
Because I care.
Yes. And like your classes aren't super expensive. Like the anxiety jar class was like $15. And that was for the jar and like the crystals and the herbs and stuff.
Honestly, if I can get one person in there that maybe was like me in the beginning of like, what is this? Like, I don't understand, but I want to.
Yeah.
If I can help that one person navigate where they're supposed to be, I feel like I did something special.
Exactly. And I feel like even going to your classes and like, I know, because I know a little bit about everything, but I don't know a lot in depth. Like classes that I'll go to, I'd be like, oh my goodness.
Right.
Like I learned so much, and then like other people are kind of free talking.
I love
and
that.
then they bring stuff, and you're like, oh my goodness, wow, okay. So then they know stuff about certain things, you know, whether it's herbs or whether it's, you know, chakras, or maybe they do specific, you know, holidays, and then they know those things, and it's like, we start talking, and I'm like, wow, I
What
didn't even
just
know that.
happened?
Yeah, you just feel like you're a brand new person. You're like, oh my gosh, now I know things. And I've met people who also know things.
You feel like important and like
Yeah.
that,
And
you're
like a part of the conversation.
yes,
Like I feel a part. Like I'm not being just like talked to. Like we're being
Right.
talked with.
and nobody that I have ever ran into as of yet, and we've been open a year and a half. Nobody ever makes somebody feel stupid for asking a question or
yeah.
anything like that, because there's different levels. Like there's some people that come in that know a whole lot, and some that barely have just started, and
Yeah.
everyone just gets.
And there's some people that
Wrong.
come in for like their daughter or their cousin or
Yep.
you know, oh, it's my, you know, aunt's birthday and she's really into this stuff. So like they may have no
Right.
knowledge, and they're, you know, you don't ever make people feel like they can't ask you questions
Right.
or that they aren't welcomed, which
And
I think is awesome.
I always tell them too, like, if I don't 100% know, I'm gonna tell you I don't 100% know,
Yes.
but let's find out together, because nobody knows everything.
Well, and you can't just sit there and memorize every single
Right.
thing. Like that's usually people that do
I
it
like
for
to,
a job.
I like to pretend I do, but
Well, yeah, 100% same. But like it's not our full-time job where we can just sit down and like really,
Right.
you know, go to, you know, I'm using quotations, go to school,
right.
you know, for that
For it.
specific thing. So like we still got to look up stuff or trying to
Learn about it.
figure it out and stuff like that, which is the whole point of this podcast is like learning and growing through all of these things. So, what keeps you going? Like what road did you take that you were like, oh, I like this road. Like and I'm gonna stay on this road. Was it that aha moment where your third eye tinkled?
Yeah.
Was that the road?
Yeah, that was like the start of it. And
Yeah.
honestly, there's some people that come in routinely and
Mhm.
they're like, because Grove, America is not the biggest city in the world.
No.
And a lot of people come in and say, oh my gosh, I don't have to drive an hour
Yes.
to get to things like this. Like so I
Like you
feel
don't have
I-
to make a whole trip to go
Right.
to a metaphysical store.
Right. So I just feel like I'm supposed to be doing it. I feel like I'm helping people, and that's what I do. I help. I think that's
I feel
gonna be
like-
my thing.
Yeah. No, 100%. Like I feel that people feel good around you. Like if you make people feel better, whether it's your energy or just like how you present yourself, how you
Positivity.
yeah, like how you go about situations. Like even, you know, if you're bummed about something, like you're
Right.
still super like fun to be around, and it's not
Well,
a
thanks,
Debbie
buddy.
Downer. Yeah, like I love you.
I love
It's-
you too.
You're awesome. What started me on this road? I was having a mental breakdown, legitimately.
Really?
Yeah, I was going through it.
Going, almost done.
I almost was gone.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, I need to help myself because if I don't, I'm gonna be gone
Right.
forever. And so I was like, gonna have to do it. So I was getting into stuff. I was trying to figure out what I was like into while I was like in this super deep depression, and I had social anxiety. So like
Right.
I was the person that wasn't going out of the house, that barely made it to the kitchen.
Well, we always joke that we okay. I always say I don't like people,
Yeah.
but it's more of a anxiety type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
I'm like, oh my god, but people like to talk to me.
Yes.
And I think it's like our energy.
Yeah.
They just, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're talking. To
Or
me
like
again.
I still have that little in the back of my mind from back when I had super bad social anxiety. Did I say something stupid?
Right.
Oh my gosh, they're gonna remember this. And like rationally, I know they do not care what I said. They're not thinking about this conversation 5 years down
Right.
the road like
They're
I
not,
am.
Right.
Like, so I still have that little piece that I'm like, you're being irrational, but Yeah, no, 100%. It's just like I was on that road and I needed to find something.
Right.
And I was like, I love movies and TV shows. And I was like going through those. But then I also was like, you know what? Tarot sounds like good. I was like watching some like witchy things. And I was like, I'm going to get into tarot.
Right.
I was on YouTube.
Well, and I think everybody has that moment or their why.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone has that moment in life. They're like, okay, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, and then when I was like trying to figure out like what I wanted to do, like so I'm not going back to my job that I'm at now. And when I figured that out, I was like, I want to talk about metaphysical things and supernatural things.
Mhm.
I want to continue doing tarot. Like I would like that, like to get to the point where I'm helping people with hard situations.
Right.
And I was like, I know these things are what I want, and like I just need to figure out how I can do them and still be able to survive.
Right.
So,
But have you noticed? Because I'm experiencing some of this stuff. Say with your job, things might be getting harder, or more things are happening to you that are negatively impacting you
yeah,
because you're not supposed to be on that path.
yes,
And so I'm starting to be aware of those kind of things.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, universe, can we just back off a little bit? Like,
Yes.
we'll talk about it.
yes. So, like figuring out that like I was not where I was supposed to be, I like it was just going downhill for real, and I was like, you know what? I need to find something that I'm happy doing. And like when we do these podcasts, I'm like, I am so happy. Like I go home just so happy and I'm just existing happily.
And it's sad when we stop recording. I'm like, we gotta wait till next week.
Yeah. I'm like, oh,
Right.
we gotta wait to like
Aw,
talk
I
again.
know.
And like we talk
all
all
the time.
the time, but it's not like sitting down and like having a
Right.
subject and just like going in on that subject and like having a good time about it. Like 100%, I love this part, and like that's why I think it's, you know, this is going to benefit somebody. It,
Mhm.
you know, we might not have a million people that listen to us, or even 25, but it's going to hit
If
a few
one
people.
person that
Yeah.
is like, maybe it's their why moment.
Yeah. And they're like, okay,
I
these
get it.
things make sense. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, if that helps one person, then like I feel good about the situation.
You hear them?
Yes, they're
I
whining.
know. They are.
They
'Cause
feel neglected.
I know. Poor babies.
How dare you treat them like that
I know.
with their cute little haircuts?
I know.
Oh my
They're so
god,
cute.
they are. It's honestly ridiculous.
We'll have to post some pictures so our viewers can see.
Yes, because they are cute.
Our viewers are
Our-
listeners.
our Okay, so at some point we will have viewers
Yes.
because we will do the video, but right now you're just listeners, which
Yes.
we're okay with.
Yes.
Okay, so few more questions. What would you like to learn?
Everything.
All of it.
Honestly, okay, on the top of my list, I want to learn more about auras.
Ooh,
Because
yes.
I feel like that goes with like my energy type stuff.
Yes.
And
If you can see auras, I would literally lose my mind.
I can.
What?
And I would like to also, it's a thing though, okay?
Is it like the thing where you turn off your smell?
Kind yes. Okay, but it takes me a while. Like I can't just instantly turn it on. So
Yeah.
I'm
You need
still
to work on
practicing with it. Yes.
Yeah.
But
Oh, dude. You can do aura readings.
I know.
Oh my gosh, that would be so cool.
What about you?
Okay, so what I am going to learn next is bone/charm throwing. And I'm gonna learn the archetypes. I'm super into. I just have to find my my laminator, and then I can do my archetypes. But I really want to learn bone and charm throwing. so that I can do that. Oh my god. That was so loud, Scott coming in. It kind of scared me.
Right.
So, sorry for the background, guys. That is her husband coming home.
Surprise.
So, but yeah, so that's the specialty that, like, a build on my specialty.
Right.
So kind of something that I want to delve into deeper. Divination, different options for that.
Now, are you going to be doing that while you're doing your tarot reads?
Yeah.
Or are you going to do, hey, do you want to do this or that?
So it's gonna take me a while to get good at bone and like I'm gonna put bones and my charms together.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not just gonna do straight bone throwing. So I'm going to like put them kind of together and do it all as one. But I will have to practice that.
Well, you can always practice with me.
Of course.
Okay.
I just gotta get me some charms, and I'm gonna buy me this lady on TikTok had this cool little spread, and she makes her own little. It's kind of like a tarot cloth,
Mm-hmm.
but it's for charm throwing,
So, like.
and it has like home, love, career, but like they're little
So,
boxes.
Is that like, so if it lands?
Yeah,
Okay.
and
I
then
get it.
my specific charms mean specific things.
Nice.
So like
Are you-
basically, I can only read them.
But that's okay. That's.
Yeah. So it's
'cause I
like
think it
a
needs
very
to be,
personalized
yes,
thing.
it has to be, I think.
Yeah, like even your tarot cards are personalized, even though like mine are Rider Waite, which is like the original one, and it's the original style. Like I personalized my cards.
Right.
Like not all cards are gonna be assholes like mine.
Okay. Do you think it's like a personality thing?
Probably. Probably. 100%. I couldn't have super passive cards that are like,
Right.
everything's gonna be okay. Like your tarot cards would be like, everything's gonna be okay.
Everything's fine.
It's
Don't worry.
okay.
Yeah, no.
The glass is half full.
Nicole's cards are like, boom.
My
Guess
cards
what?
are like, cry, bitches. Everything is gonna be going downhill. They're not going downhill all the time. Sometimes they do give good advice.
Well,
You
it's
just-
always good advice.
Yeah, you just don't always want to hear the advice.
Especially me. I'm like,
Especially you.
Is it like, do they mean like right now?
Is this like a 5-year projection?
Right.
Or like a 2-month projection?
Right. Like, sometimes I need clarification. We need to work on that.
Can I ask a clarifying card, please? Pull one of those.
Ask a friend.
Right. Do you have another deck I could ask? One that's a lot nicer. That's hilarious. And so you have plans on, like, do you have plans to work on the auras, or have you looked up anything, or?
Yes and no. I have watched, of course, TikTok, because TikTok knows everything, you know.
Of course.
And
Better than life.
I have actually practiced with Scott.
Yes. You practice on me too.
Okay, but
You have to.
okay, deal. And so, of course, I practice on myself.
Oh, you can practice on yourself?
Yes, and you can even, like, I'll show you, because I think you could do it too. Like, it's really neat.
Oh my gosh, this would be the coolest thing ever.
I know, but it's just like, it's one of those things. I'm like, am I
Am I really knowing this or imagining
Am I
it?
really seeing that? Or it's like,
Did
one
I
of those-
take drugs I didn't know about?
And it's just like, say if you're in a haunted house or a house that's haunted, or what, not like, you know,
Yeah.
Halloween time. Did you really hear that door open?
Yeah,
or is it
yeah.
just the house? Like,
Is it the house creaking,
yes,
or
like,
is it
you
actually
start,
that?
like, second guessing, and I'm like, so I'm still practicing.
Yeah, so I did that at first when I was like learning tarot, and I'm sure I will do it with charms and bones
Right.
and everything. But it was like the very much the is that right? I don't know.
Yeah.
This is questionable. But then I got to the point where I was like, no, I could feel it, and I was like, oh yeah,
Okay.
even when like sometimes I'll read my tarot cards and I'll read and it won't match the person, and it's because it's other people's energies.
Right.
So then I'm
like that one time.
Yeah, that
when
one time.
I was sending like SOS signals
Yes.
to your energy.
Yeah.
And
And we ran out, and we were like,
you almost knocked over the customer.
I did almost knock them over because you were stressed. That was the same lady that touched her third eye.
Yeah, that was the stress call.
Exactly. So like I can always be like, this is not how it's. This is not for you. This is not. Yeah. So you can feel when it's like right.
Right.
And when it's wrong.
You know, it's the same thing like having a new job. You have to train. You have to do all those things.
Yeah. Like you can't just
walk in there.
Even if you know the job super well, like even like the climate of it, like the workplace,
the people,
yeah, like getting along with people, or like figuring out where you belong, and like even those things, you can know the job super well, but you also have to be integrated into the climate of things. So how do you identify? Or do you want me to answer first?
You go first.
Okay, so I do identify as a witch, which there are so many people that they think of Sabrina.
Right.
Or, things like that. Like, I do not ride on a broom, nor do I worship the devil.
Right. But that's what people think.
Yeah.
Or they see people on, like, one of my pet peeves is people on TikTok that are wearing the witch hat.
Yes.
That's not what
like that, like, can be, like, for, like, Halloween, or even some people wear that just as a fashion, like, a fashion statement. Like, because there are some cool, like the floppy witch hats that are, like, cool.
Right.
But, like, that's not how we all are.
Right.
We don't all dress in a certain way. And, like, I'm wearing a Mario shirt right now with some leggings.
Right.
Like, definitely not dressed to the nines in witchy attire.
Right.
So, 100% it gets a bad name. And I don't, like, I'm not out here, like, making people float, or like I'm not floating, nor am I eating
people like disappear.
No,
like,
I'm not eating people's children. I'm not like, I don't do any of those things. All the witches I know also don't do any of those things. Like, it's pretty frowned upon,
right?
Like,
it's a thing. Like, it's illegal and stuff.
Yeah, you probably just shouldn't do that. Like, we're pretty chill people, but I think a lot of people don't know about witches is you can be any religion and be a witch.
Right.
So, like, you can be a Christian witch, you can be a Buddhist witch, you can be an atheist witch, you can be,
There's multiple different...
you can be a pagan witch. Like, you can be multiple things and still be a witch, if that makes sense. So, it's not an exclusive situation.
Right.
It's very inclusive.
And honestly, I don't know. I honestly can't answer how I identify as of right now. Besides, I know if anything, it would be like a white or a light worker, or that type.
Like,
just in my path,
a healing person.
Yes,
like something
as of right
kind of.
now.
Yeah, and which is fine. Like, you don't have to. I feel like the witch name has a lot of stereotypes with it, and so that makes people feel uncomfortable.
And honestly, I think that starts with some of it is religion, society. I mean, just in general.
Yeah.
Depending on how you were raised.
Like, well, and you're a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
I'm agnostic, but I also do worship certain goddesses.
Right.
So.
And that just goes to show you can, like,
be besties.
Yes. Like
she's one of my best friends.
Yes. And just because we have different belief systems doesn't mean, like, how many times have we sat there and talked about, our religion.
Yeah.
Not very often, unless we're doing something like this.
Yeah, it's not like we're like, hello, where is your Bible to throw at me? And I'm like, hey, look at my Hecate statue and I'm going to throw it. You know, like,
Right.
it is not ever like that. And
ever.
and
it
it's,
shouldn't be.
yeah, like, it's not like we find Crystal's so awesome. We talk about so much other stuff and, like, we do so many other things that, like, religious isn't even a play in this. And, like, and that's the thing that I feel like the new Sabrina kind of messed up was they have to sign the book like for the devil, and then like they sign their soul over to the devil or whatever. Nobody's signing any souls over because also I think people don't understand that like if you're in another religion, like you wouldn't be signed up for the devil because the devil is a Christian concept.
Right.
So you wouldn't, if you don't believe in that God, you wouldn't believe in that devil because that like
so
doesn't.
Then it goes away.
Yeah.
There's no like meaning to that.
Yeah.
Right.
So like if I believe that there is somewhere that you go if you're bad or whatever, then it wouldn't necessarily be the devil. Like I would just say, okay, well Hades, he sorts people. And that's a Greek mythology. He sorts people through hell and wherever they need to go. But then that wouldn't be the same concept as Satan in Christianity.
Right.
Because bad people go there, but Hades is more of a sorting situation.
And if you go to hell,
yeah,
you don't necessarily get sorted.
You're
just
there. Everybody just messed up.
Right.
Y'all all burning. Have you ever seen Constantine?
Yes.
It's just Constantine the whole time. Everybody's like, no. But yeah, so I think that's weird that people automatically are like, you worship the devil. I'm like, no, I don't even hang out with him. Like, I'm not even into him.
But people just, and I don't know. And even as a Christian, sometimes I'm like, ooh, like, why would you say that? Or why, some of the stuff that I don't necessarily agree with.
You're like grasping your pearls, like,
yeah,
that is not nice. She is the nicest person ever.
And I was like, ooh, that was not nice.
Ma'am, do we need to talk to someone about this? But yeah, like some people, and even in the metaphysical shops, like people will come in there and be mean.
Yeah, like,
and why?
And even like some will come in and they'll look around and go, oh my God, no, this is a witch shop or a devil shop. We've had people turn around and say, no, like, it's not even needed. Like, oh, I thought this was something else. Like, and just leave. Like, you don't have to say stuff.
Like, oh, I thought this was the other place in town with the name like this.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't have to be rude about it. Like, why you trying to be mean? And that kind of leads into, like, how you feel about others' criticism, which it's hard.
It is hard. And it used to bother me. Even in my nursing career, criticism or people, because in my position I am over other employees and stuff, and it used to bother me if people thought I didn't do something, or if maybe they felt that I should have done it differently, or it used to bother me, and it still does sometimes. And because that's just me, and I'm never going to change.
You're very much a people pleaser.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I have finally learned
which
that
is not a negative thing, guys, by the way.
Really not.
I'm not like being like you're a people pleaser, but like you have that trait.
Because I would rather people be happy and joyful, and even like talking to people, I'd rather say, hey, do you mind doing this? I can help you, or please. Like, I feel like it goes so much further than just being an asshole.
Yeah, 100%.
But
my cards don't say please.
Never. Your cards are assholes.
They were born that
You
way.
would actually be proud of me, because the other day at work, we had to have a meeting, and I was like, you guys know this is not the type of boss I am, and I don't like having these meetings. And they all just looked at me because they know I'm not that way.
They're like, oh no,
Oh,
we've done
gosh.
something wrong.
Or if I actually get really fired up, because I have that, everyone has that point.
Yeah.
And my crazy slips out sometimes.
Yeah.
They look at me like with those big old bug eyes, you know, when the kids are scared.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I still say sorry when
Yeah,
I'm mad.
like, I'm sorry, but I am mad right
Yeah.
now. That's hilarious. Like, stop apologizing. Don't
Just
do that.
throw the crazy. It's okay, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel like I don't necessarily like people know me like well, but I don't necessarily broadcast it because we are in the Bible Belt.
Right.
We are in a very religious location, and sometimes people don't give you opportunities that you would normally get on your merit because of religion.
And are you meaning like employment?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what I was gonna say. A lot of times people, especially small towns,
Mhm.
they're like, oh, that's that one girl.
Yes.
You know, like
that's that one girl who, you know,
that's that devil lady.
yeah, she eats people's children on the weekend to keep
Only
her
on
youth.
Halloween.
Yeah, don't go near her house. I got 4 kids. They're like, how'd they survive? Yeah, but that's how I kind of feel because sometimes, like, even when I read tarot, I was really nervous about, like, reading tarot at the shop. And it wasn't even, I was worried about, like, me being good at it. Well, I was at first.
Right.
Just because that first step of reading for strangers is
Right. It's
nerve-wracking.
scary.
But just,
It's a people thing.
it's a
I'm
people
like,
thing.
oh, people lady.
Oh my gosh, people are here. But okay, what if somebody sees it on the Facebook and
Right.
then they
And
see
they're
my
like,
name
right.
and then they're rude and like,
And that's sad.
yeah,
Like, nobody should have to deal with that.
yeah,
But like some people at work, they'll be like, "You have a crystal shop?"
yeah.
Yeah, I do. Like they
Like,
just think, oh
Why
my
does that
gosh.
change anything? Yeah,
It
like
shouldn't,
you know
but-
me. Why would like one person? I was like, yeah, I read tarot, like, because I always have my tarot card with me.
Mhm.
I'm always willing to give anybody a free tarot read, like if we have
She
time.
literally has them on her at all times.
I have them on me right now. Well,
Yeah.
they're in the car,
Yeah,
but
but
they're
they're
in
here.
my purse at all times.
Yeah.
And so I said something, or I said I have work on Saturday because I consider it work. Like I have to eat a pickle. Like I have to be like
Right,
buzzing with energy because of how much energy I deplete while
Mm-hmm.
reading. And so like it's a full like day when
It's
I
a
have
thing.
to do when I read tarot. Even when I don't read a ton of people, sometimes they're longer reads.
Mhm.
I notice like I won't have as many people, but there'll be longer reads that I'm doing. And so it's like depleting, but I like said something about it. I said like I have work on, Saturday or whatever. They were like, "Oh, you have a second job?" I was like, "Oh, well, I read tarot."
Mhm.
And they were like, "Oh, the devil cards?"
my
And I was like, I said, "I don't know what kind of devil you hanging out with, but I ain't hanging out with no devil."
My cards aren't the devil.
I said, I don't hang out with the devil. I don't know about you, but I don't.
How do you know them?
Like, I don't know no devil. What do you mean? My cards don't speak of the devil. Like they have a devil card, but it only means oppression and being committed to something that you shouldn't be committed to and chained to something. Like that's the only devil I know, and it's a card.
It's not even like
It's
that
not
bad.
even an actual devil. It just, is from a Christian perspective because of that. That's the time they were
Right.
wrote in and like drawn in.
Right.
So I was like, I don't know what devil you talking about. And it's just like, well, when you read, like, will the devil come out? I was like, one, we're not doing a seance.
We don't. We also don't try to bring people back.
Yeah,
Because that's a thing we don't.
Yeah, we're not bringing nobody back. You can stay dead. Have a great life.
They're having
And the
much
afterlife.
more fun
Have a
than we
great,
are.
exactly. I was like,
You know
I
how
don't.
pissed I'd be if like I ever do
If
pathway and your
somebody
ass
came
brought
to me-
me back.
Oh, I would fight you. I'd fight you in my zombie body. And then I'd be like, kill me.
right now.
I'd fight you and then make you kill me.
Yeah.
Like, disrespectful. How dare you bring me back to life? It's crappy out here. I was having mimosas
you
and
brought me here.
alcohol, and we were partying with, freaking Einstein, and you're out here bringing me back to life. We were on a separate dimension. We were astral projected to the moon and the stars.
Like, be like, but I missed you.
Yeah, I missed you. I don't give a damn. You better miss somebody else. I'd be so mad. But yeah, she was like, well, I get to summon the devil, blah, blah, blah. Is the devil going to help you? I was like, one, I don't know him. New phone, who this? And two, why? I'm not doing anything weird. It's just
Why?
intention.
Do people even think that they have the ability or the say-so to be able to say ugly things like that? Like, I don't get it.
Yes.
Like, so
Like that
rude.
one person who was like, you're the tarot reader? Like, how dare I? Like, what? Yes, I am.
Thanks for noticing.
Guys, I dress in regular outfits. So, like, if my kid has soccer that day, I'm going to have a soccer mom t-shirt on and some jeans. Like, I got a multi-life.
Maybe you need to dress up for the part. Maybe that's the problem.
Well, I do have a new boho little set that I'm going to wear.
Okay.
And I'm really excited because it's so comfy. It was made in Thailand. And, oh my gosh, I love it so much. And it's like tie-dye, but like not. Oh, it's so nice.
All right.
So maybe people will take me more seriously if I look like a freaking
Maybe the part, like you have
tarot
to play the
reader that's out of a $5 palm and tarot reading thing. Like, I don't even charge.
If you get so many more people, I'm gonna be like,
Oh my gosh, I'm buying all the things. I'm buying all the outfits. I'll even wear the little hat thing. I'll buy one of those witches' hats. I'll buy one of those witches' hats. I need a little more money. What can I say? Oh my gosh. But yeah, like, people are wild. They
Yeah.
just say whatever. And I'm sure there will be people on this podcast that say,
right, and it's okay. Like everyone has their own opinion and thoughts, but don't be rude.
yeah, one, don't be rude. Two, if we say anything that is, you feel is wrong, quote, like, can you, like, have some good, like, give us a link that we can check out
Yes,
to learn
because
better.
We are
Or,
learning,
like,
too.
don't be like, you're stupid and wrong.
right.
Like, no, just be like, hey,
like
you
why
said
are we
this.
wrong?
Yeah, like, you said this, and this is actually how it is. Here's a link to, like,
Yeah.
a site. Or link me a book.
yeah.
Like, maybe it's on Kindle Unlimited. Then I will. They should sponsor us. I read a lot.
Yes, me too.
So, shout out Amazon.
Yes.
Call me up, Bezos. But, like, be nice. Like,
right.
don't be an ass.
And I'm also the type that
Oh,
like
she
that would
will-
hurt my heart.
Yes.
So you have to look at the comments
Yes.
for a while.
So
Like,
we
it's
have
okay.
made a deal that I will look at the comments because she is a sweet baby angel and she would be
undercover,
so
but like whatever.
she would be so heartbroken if y'all said mean things about her
No.
or called her names. She
Or
would
at
be
least,
so
like,
sad.
Be mean to Felicia too.
And listen, if you've made it this far in this podcast,
Obviously we did something.
obviously we did something right. And if you are just about to leave a comment that's like hateful, you
Just wasted.
wasted.
like 1 hour and 13 minutes of
Yeah,
your time.
you wasted all your time, and that's still a view for us.
True.
So, at the end of the day,
and this is why she's gonna check the comments.
yeah, that's why I'm going to check the comments. So, at the end of the day, you're still listening. So, like, don't be rude.
Yeah.
We love, talking, and we love learning. So, if we said anything weird, or maybe you want to hear something, like us learn about something, so you can learn along too. So you don't. Sometimes it sucks, like learning along, like learning alone.
Yeah.
So if you want to like see something more or anything like that, like we can definitely do that.
For sure. And
And
we'll
just, like, leave it.
do a link tree with like
Ooh,
our
yeah.
emails and everything. So.
Yeah, because we'll have an email, and I'm sure I'll be reading all the comments.
For the first solid year,
So
that's your job.
Yep, I'm gonna just be like,
Delete,
okay.
delete. Oh, this one's good. Send to Candace.
Right? Send. They were nice. Oh, they sent a link. Send it to Candace. They suggested this in the shop. Send it to Candace.
Oh,
but yeah.
Trash.
No, that was rude. Block them. They can't listen to our stuff anymore.
No.
But yeah, so I just feel like it's a hard life that we don't need any more negative people in it.
Yep.
Because it's just not cool. So stay chill. Don't poke anybody's third eye. And we'll see you next week. Depending on what we are going to talk about, probably the moon.
Yes.
Or chakras. Probably chakras.
And then we'll get into the moon and
The
sun.
Yeah.
The following.
Yeah. So we had a great time, and thanks for hanging out with us for this long. Have a good night. Or a good day, depending on where you are.
Yeah.
Bye.